Oh boy, guys. This Oscar race is really starting to heat up. It's going to be a tough year, guys. And I can't wait for it. Anyway, hey there, guys. What's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, you want to hear a really crazy story? I've seen 4 movies within the period of a week. That's unheard of, guys. I saw 4 new releases from that last Saturday to this past Saturday. 2 wide releases and 2 limited releases, and I've been trying to catch up on a few indie films that have come out weeks ago and finally are starting to get wider releases. And one of the films that I did see and am going to be talking about in this video is an independent film that did get a wide limited release a while ago. Now it's finally starting to get wide. I was really anticipating this film, guys, and I finally got to see it. The movie I'm going to be reviewing in this video, guys, of course, is Whiplash. That's right, guys. I finally got to see Whiplash, starring Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, directed by Damien and Chazelle. The one film that absolutely stole the show at the 2014 Sundance Film Festival. It won the Grand Jury Prize Award as well as the Audience Award. And ever since then, ever since the trailer dropped, a lot of people have been hyping up Whiplash, giving it an insane amount of Oscar buzz, myself included. As soon as the trailer dropped, I really started to get pumped for the film. It instantly became one of my most highly anticipated films for the rest of 2014, for the fall movie season, that is. And I was just really looking forward to this one, guys. And I was lucky enough to have the film open in the same independent theater that got Boyhood and Birdman. I saw both Boyhood and Birdman in this theater. I just saw Birdman a few days ago in this theater. And, you know, I was in the theater waiting for Birdman to start. I go on my phone, I check the show times for this weekend for this same theater, and it says Whiplash, and my mouth dropped. I was so excited, because Whiplash is supposed to get a limited release, a wider release this coming Friday, November 14th. Luckily, this independent theater that's very close to my house got it a week early, so I'm so excited to have seen Whiplash, and now I can finally give you my thoughts on it. Alright, guys, let's get to it. Before I give you my thoughts, of course, I'm going to sum up the synopsis behind Whiplash, and here we go. Whiplash is set in the present day in New York City, and our main protagonist is a 19-year-old aspiring jazz drummist, Andrew Niemer, played by Miles Teller. Now, Miles Teller's character gets accepted into the Schaefer Conservatory of Music, one of the most prestigious music schools in the entire country. He has really solid aspirations of becoming one of the all-time greatest jazz drumists. And, you know, he needs to go through this program and, you know, eventually work his way up to becoming one of the greatest. And he gets accepted into the class of a very well-known instructor, Terrence Fletcher, played by J.K. Simmons. And Miles Teller's really looking forward to this. You know, he's really excited. He can't wait to start working his way up to the top. But unfortunately, things take a hard right and do not go as expected, because Miles Teller's instructor is not all that he seems to be. He actually turns out to be a brutal, despicable instructor who uses both physical and verbal abuse in order to sort of stimulate his students and get them to be the best, the very best they can be. He wants to bring the best out of them. He believes he needs to push them to their limits, and that is exactly what J.K. Simmons does to Miles Teller in this film. And he just puts Miles Teller on the edge, and the whole film you're asking yourself, what is Miles Teller going to do? Is he going to face off against J.K. Simmons? Is he just going to stick with this and deal with it and just take it? What is he going to do? What is his next move? That, my friends, is the premise behind Whiplash. And you know what, guys? That premise was enough to get me hooked for this film, because, you know, I'm sure we've had films with, you know, centered on, you know, an aspiring musician, you know, trying to work their way up. You know, we've had that, but, you know, the whole aspect that there is a professor, or an instructor, I should say, who just believes in the utmost ridiculous, near sadistic, and just brutal teaching methods. I mean, it just adds to this just murky and just dark tone that this film has in several scenes. And I really liked the overall premise. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat this review, or sugarcoat this film, rather, or just, you know, stall giving you my thoughts on this film, guys. I'm just going to come out and say it. Whiplash, guys, is one of the best films of the year. It's actually, excuse me, it's actually one of the 5 best films of the year. Completely honest. I'm not even kidding you. Guys, I love this movie. You know, walking into this film, I knew I was going to enjoy it. I knew I was in for something special. But I did not know that it was going to be as good as it actually was. Whiplash, my friends, is one of the best films of the year. It's one of the best directed films of this year. And by far, one of the best acted films you will see this year. Without a doubt. I mean, it just... This film blows you away on nearly every way possible. Ever since the film opened. You got that dolly shot, dollying in on Miles Teller, pounding the drums. I knew I was in for a treat. I knew this movie was going to be special. And boy, was it ever special. This is an absolutely raw, brutal, tense, emotional, heartbreaking, near devastating, exhilarating, entirely entertaining, engrossing film. One of, I keep saying one of the best films of the year. It is one of the best films of the year. I mean, it just did something for me, guys. And the script, the dialogue was just brilliant, in my opinion. The film is at a core, it's really about this conflict that goes on between Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, and how they're at odds, and Miles Teller's being pressured beyond end, being pushed to his absolute furthest limit by J.K. Simmons' harsh teaching methods. And apart from that, it has a really, really profound, inspiring story about perseverance, and that, you know, basically what the film is trying to say, that, you know, the main character is young, he's 19, and he wants to work his way up to the top to be well known and respected. And in order to do so, he has to deal with this really difficult challenge of J.K. Simmons' sadistic ways. And the same could be said for ourselves. You know, we ourselves push ourselves beyond our limits to get to the top, to get well remembered, well respected, and we have to deal with certain challenges. Now, granted, things go way too far in this movie for Miles Teller, and he has to go through way too much, but still, that is, that's the movie. But at the core, I really love that message. And this film connected with me on a personal level, because Miles Teller plays a 19-year-old kid in a music conservatory. I'm in a film conservatory. I'm currently dealing with pressure myself. Now, granted, not as much as, I don't have to go through as much as what Miles Teller has to go through in this film. Good God, no. But, you know, I understand, and I connected with that aspect of this film, and that's something I really, really enjoyed about the film. It's definitely relatable to anyone who's ever had to deal with an immense amount of struggle or pressure, and that is why I love this movie so much. And it's just so tense. It is so well acted, incredibly directed by Damien Chazelle, one of the best directed films you're going to see this year by far. Anyway, guys, I've talked about the script and the dialogue, which is just harsh and brutal. So many jabbing insults J.K. Simmons throws at Miles Teller. It's unbelievable. And, you know, I love all that about this film. But what really sucks you into this movie and just floors you are the two leading performances from Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. Let's start off with Miles Teller, who is our leading actor. I didn't recognize Miles Teller in this movie, guys. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I did not see Miles Teller in this film. I mean, he's been on a very hot streak. You know, he's been in The Spectacular Now most recently. He was just in Divergent, which isn't a film to showcase his acting talent. This is by far his best role to date, without a doubt. I mean, Miles Teller went to places, his character went to places in this film I honestly wasn't even expecting him to go through. And just the brutality and just the despair he has to go through. And the fact that he keeps pushing himself, doing exactly what J.K. Simmons wants him to do, is just unbelievable. The shots that Damien Chazelle has of Miles Teller close-ups of Miles Teller viciously beating the drums. You see the anger, the frustration on Miles Teller's face. It is so jaw-droppingly realistic. Miles Teller perfectly plays this role. I mean, you see the sweat pouring off his face in these shots. He's viciously beating on the drums, trying to do what he's being told to do, as J.K. Simmons is shouting in his face, yelling at him, throwing insults at him, throwing chairs at him. I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable where Miles Teller took me in this movie. He floored me. He blew me away. One of the best performances of this year. I will be severely disappointed if he does not at least get nominated for Best Actor. He is incredible in Whiplash. Just absolutely unbelievably good in this film. Moving on, J.K. Simmons. Just to show you guys how much I was blown away by J.K. Simmons, I'll give you a scenario of what happened as I was watching the film. One of the earlier scenes in the film when J.K. Simmons is harshly insulting Miles Teller and insulting several other classmates, whatever. I was sitting there watching, I'm like, oh, wow, J.K. Simmons is incredible. Then he says further things. They're disgusting. They're despicable. They started to get me angry. I actually started to get angry. And not only did I start to get angry, my jaw dropped and hit the floor early on in this film at J.K. Simmons' awe-inspiring, absolutely wonderful performance. I was utterly shocked, guys. A swarm of locusts could have flown through the open hole in my mouth. I could have swallowed them. I would have been choking, regurgitating on them as the film was progressing. That's how wide my mouth was as I was watching J.K. Simmons in this scene. I was lost, guys. I was just stunned. J.K. Simmons, absolutely incredible. I believe this man deserves to win Best Supporting Actor at this year's Oscars. He deserves it. He fully deserves it. Miles Teller would deserve Best Actor, but I am torn between him, Michael Keaton, and Matthew McConaughey right now. So it's those three of them. J.K. Simmons blows every other supporting acting performance I've seen this year way out of the water, which is why I feel he deserves the win. He's just brutal, despicable. The guy plays a scumbag in this movie. You can't help but hate him because of what he puts his students through, and it is so brutal and so messed up on so many levels. He is just transformative in this role. Absolutely jaw-dropping. That's how I felt. The two leads are just incredible. Even some of the supporting performances from some of the other musicians were great. Moving on, guys. I mean, I've been really praising this film, and I just absolutely love it. I honestly can't wait to watch it again on Blu-ray. I mean, it'll be an honest shame if a film like this that really got my blood pumping. I was so invested into it. I was invested into the characters, into the scenario, into this script. I was so blown away by all of it. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, and it'll be an honest shame if this film doesn't get any Oscar love, because these are the types of movies, these small independent films that just get your blood pumping. They get you so excited and invested in these characters and the story. These are the kinds of movies I love the most, guys. And for that reason, I'm going pretty darn high for this film. I know it seems like I've been just nonstop praising this film, but I do have one flaw that's keeping me from going all the way. With that said, I'm going 9.75 out of 10, or solid A for Whiplash. It's one of the best films you're going to watch in the cinemas this year. You guys want to know what my only flaw is? Okay, here's my only flaw. Miles Teller's character has a girlfriend in this movie. They tried to develop a relationship between the two early on. I honestly felt it didn't work because she wasn't in the movie enough with him in order for me to care about her character or their relationship. I cared way more about Miles Teller and the conflict he had with J.K. Simmons. And although I liked the fact that they gave him a girlfriend in the story, I felt they needed an extra 5 minutes, 2 or 3 more scenes of Miles Teller with his girlfriend, just made her a more prominent character, and I would have been fine. That's my only flaw. And the reason why I made that known is because they could have cut that out, even though I wouldn't want them to, but they needed more in there because I didn't care for her enough, and that is a flaw that I had with the film. Other than that, everything else about this film is flawless, guys, which is why I went as high as I did, 9.75. one of the best directed films of this year. It'll be a shame if Damien Chazelle is not nominated. I mean, the guy had to know a lot about music to not only write, but also direct this film. And I got to give him a lot of props. He obviously has done research. I don't know if he's had a past with music. That's up in the air. I don't know. I got to research that. But absolutely flawless direction from him. His use of close-ups and lighting, the cinematography, him and the cinematographer worked very well together. I mean, the film is just masterfully shot, in my opinion. Some of the best direction of the year, some of the best camera work of the year, apart from Birdman, of course, and some of the best cinematography of the year. The film is wonderfully edited, and I'll tell you why, because the scenes where Miles Teller is drumming, and you know, the whole orchestra band, the jazz orchestra band, they're drumming, whatever, it's so well edited because there's a lot of quick cuts of Miles Teller, shot on the drums, shot on the cymbals, shot on other musicians, and I just really like that. It really adds to the tension of the movie. You got the crazy jazz music playing in the background as the characters are drumming it up, and I really love that about the film. The music was excellent. I really liked the pieces that characters played in the film. The script is excellent. Like I said, I loved that message about our perseverance and our determination despite challenges we face, and it's so well portrayed in the film. The dialogue is harsh, it's brutal, and of course, as I've been sugarcoating it the whole review, the performances are what do it for you in this film. They suck you into this movie, they make you care for these characters, they make you hate one character, you care for the other character, and Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons are just absolutely incredible. Everything works for this film, guys. It's one of the best, most highly entertaining films you're going to see this year. Absolutely captivating in every sense of the word, and it's like a freaking experience, guys. I really enjoyed this movie. Highest recommendation, 9.75 out of 10, A from me. Guys, please, if this film comes to a theater near you, do yourself a favor and see it. It is one of the best movies you're going to watch this year by far. If you already saw it, let me know what you thought about it down below. But definitely, highly recommend you see it. I can't stop thinking about it, guys. And because of that, I'm going to end it at that. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in my next review. Bye, guys.